Naked truth about the war in Ukraine. This is an update from the battlefield and what's new with the war in Ukraine. I haven't covered it for a little bit and for a few days. Let's see what is happening. Hello, I'm Elena. Welcome to my channel Enough of Propaganda. And thank you for coming. Thank you for my subscribers and for people who are watching me all the time and for new people. In general, we will cover several topics. Let's talk what was happening on the battlefield in Ukraine from today, between 24th of December to 26th. Another more than 1,000 of Russian troops killed and wounded, 22 tanks, 37 APVs, 19 artillery systems, and one warship. Before talking about the warship which was destroyed in Feodosia, in Crimea, I want to underline that in 4 months, 20% of the Black Sea fleet of Russia was destroyed. This said the head of the Ministry of Defense of Great Britain. According to the British minister, the destruction of the shipping of the Black Sea fleet demonstrates that those who believe that the war in Ukraine has reached a dead end are wrong. Russian dominance in the Black Sea now under threat, and a new coalition of naval forces led by Great Britain and Norway is helping to ensure Ukraine's victory at sea, he concluded. So, whatever Ukraine did, they basically get rid of the commanders of Black Sea Fleet. The country without navy at all shoved the Russian Black Sea Fleet in the corner of the sea and not even allow them do much in the sea. Not even threatening the grain deal. So Ukraine basically doing with grain what they decided to do, and Russia can't stop them. And the destruction of the ship I'm gonna talk about today, even another proof that Ukraine is doing a lot and winning a lot in this war. And all the talks about that Ukraine is losing and so on, it is wrong. Ukraine is winning the war. That is why Putin's propaganda so intensified. So in Feodosia, Crimea, I'll show you in a minute on the map, the ship, landing ship Novocherkassk was destroyed.
Ты снимаешь? Да. Охренеть. Ой, жарко сюда.
Вот зря мы сюда пошли, там осколки, блин, летят.
Поэтому говорю голову.
Нифига себе.
We were now saying it's too bad that we are here, the shrapnel might fall on us. So this is Crimea, this is Feodosia, that's where the ship was. So basically from Sevastopol, after the previous ship was destroyed and the dry dock was destroyed here, Russian fleet ran away from Sevastopol to Novorossiysk, Russia. This is Russian Federation. And somewhat trying to use harbor in Feodosia. And now right in Feodosia, that ship was destroyed. Whatever you saw happened right here. This is Jake Bro and his channel. He has a good video about Russia suffers defeat with loss of ship and 2 more jets. And you can see how many. He kinda going into details which I want about that. There is information that people thinking it was done by Patriot system. And there are other ideas about how the ship get destroyed. But the point is it get destroyed. No matter how much Russia lies that, oh, it's a little bit, it just nothing really happened. As soon as Russia say it's a little bit damaged, that means it's completely destroyed. I have lived in the USSR and Russia, and I know all that double talk, all that kind of like described in 1984, when people say one thing and they mean another. This is how it is. So Russia lost the ship. Novocherkassk ship, as far as I know, had about 87 people, crew. And usually on the ships like that, crew usually stays on the ship, even during fixing or during something like that. According to Anton Gerashchenko, by preliminary information, Novocherkassk landing ship could have been carrying 4,400 units of artillery shells and 280 Grad missiles. That's what, according to Russian media report. And there was information that maybe was carrying on Shahed drones, but it's unclear according to Gerashchenko. He is thinking only 62 crew members were on board, but I had information that it was 87. And another ship was sunken. It was old training UTS 150 ship Radio Svoboda. And there are satellite images of that. The blast was so hard that the big chunks like that flew in the other parts of the city, and it landed and it stuck in the ground for about a meter inside. So, and you saw the blast. It wasn't something very minor. It was a big blast. Ship is destroyed. And according to the insider, in Crimea, the government threatens people by putting them in jail, criminal prosecution, for making videos about this blast. They said attack of Ukrainians isn't a reason to jump around on your balcony in your underwear and make videos. So that is why people gonna be charged. Criminal charges will be pressed against people who made videos. I just showed you. And this is how this ship Novocherkassk looked like when it wasn't damaged. This is video confirmation after the blast. According to Ukraine Battle Map Twitter channel, since the start of Russian invasion of Ukraine, at least 21 new Russian naval ship attractions for fish to swim in have opened up in the Black Sea. So that's what Russian ships destroyed, and started from huge cruiser Moscow. Russian Black Sea Fleet before the war, and Russian Black Sea Fleet after the war. And this joke is from Glasnost Gone, that Putin intends to show his support for Russian Black Sea Fleet by visiting every ship in person. Yeah, he needs a submarine to visit some of them. Dive, dive, dive! And I totally agree. So Russia lost another battleship in a land war against a country without a navy. And Putin is thinking there must be a way to blame NATO for this. Of course, this is favorite Russian idea, blame NATO for everything. And more than just a ship. In just a few days, Ukraine has downed 5 Russian jets. And the ship today. And Glasnost gonna say, now imagine what Ukraine could do with the US and German long-range missiles. It could end Russian invasion, it could even end Putin's life. Recently, several channels reported, even like this I'm showing from Warthog Defense, even Russian Z-Patriots reported that, first of all, was 3 fighter jets, like Su-34, 35, were knocked down by Ukraine. They are thinking it was Patriot systems or some other ways. They were knocked down from the sky. And Russia at first denied, and then it's tried to say, oh, it's our own planes. Our own defense system shot them down or something like that. Or maybe some local MiG-29 knocked them down or whatever. So we kind of shot down our own planes. They were so embarrassed that those planes were shot down by Ukraine that they were ready to admit that they shot them down themselves. Turned out to be it isn't true. Ukraine destroyed those 3 planes. This is Ukrainian officer and journalist Taras Berezovets, and he is saying that at least 5 planes, Russian planes, were knocked down. One is in Mariupol, near Mariupol, another one in Odessa region, and another 3 in Kherson region. First was Su-34, and then Su-35, and in Kherson region, Su-34s. And each of those planes cost at least $50 million. Russia has about 150 of those planes, and reproduce them is costly, but the most important thing is the pilots, and some pilots didn't survive. To train the pilot takes a long time, and Russia losing planes, Russia lost a ship, and it isn't good for Russia. This strike on Russian army is so hard that Russia is basically now afraid to use planes on the south, because they don't know where the Patriots are and they might knock down more planes. Another good news for Ukraine is that the first group of Ukrainian pilots completed the basic training program in the UK and started training on F-16 fighters in Denmark. And Denmark will provide to Ukrainians their planes F-16s very soon. Meanwhile, Netherlands are sending F-16s to Ukraine. So Ukrainians gonna love that. And F-16s are coming. Now let's look at the map. Basically, Ukraine attacking on two fronts, two areas. It is Zaporizhia region, and it is near Kherson. It's on the south. Especially painful for Russia that Ukrainians crossed the Dnieper River, and there are battles going on near Krynki. Ukrainians kind of attached themselves here, and Russians couldn't kick them out. No matter what they do, despite that's very difficult to be here, for many reasons I explained in some other videos, like the ground is certain way, like lots of water everywhere and so on. And it's really hard to bring supplies across the river and everything. Still, Ukraine's still here. Nothing Russia can do. Russia is attacking on 3 different directions. One is around Kupiansk, which nothing Russia could do on either one. Yeah, they sometimes get few meters here and there. That's about it. Since Prigozhin with Wagner Group captured Bakhmut by terrible losses of Russian army, Russia couldn't do anything much after that. Kupiansk still liberated by Ukraine and nothing happened. Moving meter here, meter there, 100 meters over here, 100 meters over there. Nothing happening. Putin presented capturing Bakhmut like such a big victory. I told you that this is not important town in any way. Russians just choose to lose over 50,000 of people there. And they still didn't get much. They didn't get anything. They didn't get not to any other important city here. They still around Bakhmut. They didn't move anywhere. Next place and next area of Russian attacks is Avdiivka, which they couldn't capture for 9 years. And they still can't. So far, no matter what Russians do, they couldn't capture Avdiivka. That is why when Russian trolls and bots and useful idiots try to say, oh, it's terrible, it's a stalemate and this and that. What stalemate? Ukraine, country without fleet, destroying Russian fleet. Russia can't capture anything and didn't move anywhere. Meanwhile, Ukraine keep destroying different things, destroying ammunition depots. There was blow-ups in several places recently with lots of ammunition destroyed. And even that ship, Novocherkassk, destroyed today. So Ukraine continue making their life better. Russia and winning. Russia couldn't accomplish anything. Can't accomplish anything. I watched recently several interesting input from Michael Naki, the analyst and political scientist from Russia. He's originally from Russia. Basically, I'll show you a couple pieces because I won't translate from Russian and just what is happening on the front, what Russians are doing. Yes, Russia really losing that many people. Even some analysts are saying, oh, there is no mass movements of troops anywhere, like nothing happening so big that have that big of a losses. But yes, Russians are losing because they throw in people in the mid-storms, mid-grinder basically. And Russian people, Russian forces by masses, like people, not as much equipment, but just people, running around in the big groups. And that's how they're losing people, because they use them in huge amounts without even support of artillery or anything. And these are Russian soldiers. Russian soldiers are dying en masse. Meanwhile, Ukraine continuing shelling different places. On 20th of December was attacked 2 big objects in Crimea. One of them was the FSB Center of Analyzing Information and so on, and antennas with satellite antennas and so on. Missile complex Tabol was destroyed. So every day Ukraine destroying something, and this is information from Z Patriots, from Russian side. They confirming that. Michael Naki showed one of the videos when Russian soldiers were praying before attack. The point is, if they thrown in those mid-storms, they either grabbing some territory or they just die. And since, as we could see on the map, you can just rewind it a few days back and see what's happening. Since October like 7th or October 10th, for all these months, Russia didn't capture anything. What does that mean? It means that these people most likely already dead. Their attacks didn't get them any territory. It means they dead, wounded and dead. A few days ago, New York Times published an article, Russia makes small battlefield gains, increasing pressure on Ukraine. What they're talking about, it's a small, teeny, tiny accomplishments of the little tiny territories, nothing major. As we can clearly see, even like Russia was attacking Kupiansk even during Ukrainian counteroffensive and this and that. And for 7 months they couldn't achieve anything there. So there is nothing Russia achieved to speak of. And Putin's brave face about that they winning something is just a face. It's just a mask. It's another lie. Today was conversations that Russia took Mariinka place in Ukraine. In the last, like that Mariinka, Russian army taking, I don't know how many times, 100 times. In the last month, in December alone, at least 3 times, Russia reported that they took Mariinka. First time was like December 1st, and they were saying, oh, we took Mariinka. And they showed the flag posted right here. You can see. So basically, a few soldiers ran away, stuck the flag in the building, and ran out. That's how they took Mariinka. And another 2 times was exactly the same thing. Oh, we took Mariinka, blah, blah, blah. Turned out to be, it wasn't true. And it was like three times this month alone. And before that was many times as well. They was keep saying, we took Mariinka, we took Mariinka. So until we see it confirmed, I wouldn't trust everything Russia says. Now they kind of saying it's fully occupied, but this post in Twitter says, this T-64 tanker drives around and flattens Russians' positions. How come the Mariinka is fully occupied? But the truth is Mariinka destroyed. As you can see, it leveled. Ukrainians saying like there is no place basically already to hide. Because Russia just destroyed town of Mariinka. Wiped it off. These are brave Ukrainian defenders. Those young and beautiful ladies could have been studying in university, going dancing, partying, having fun, visiting their relatives or doing something what young people do. Instead of that, they are fighting in the war Putin started in their country. They defending their country. Ukraine is standing and defending not just their country but our democracy, and helping Ukraine is crucial. This is the existential conflict. Putin must be stopped. So let's support Ukraine, help them and give them anything they need to win the war and stop Putin. Please help Ukraine, learn the truth and stay informed. Thank you for watching. Just in case you don't know who I am originally from Russia and the USSR. I was born in the USSR and now I live in Canada for over 19 years. And I researched deeply the war in Ukraine and the situation in Ukraine even before the war, which is since 2013. That is why I have deep knowledge about many things which is not obvious for other people who, for example, born and raised in democratic countries. And that is why my input invaluable for some people and for Russians as well, because I am doing my videos in Russian and in English. Because there are several ways, basically 2 main ways how Ukraine can win this war. One of the ways is defeat Putin on the battlefield with the help of the free and democratic world. And another way is if Russians will rebel against Putin overthrow him and make a decent life in their country, stop the war, and this is how the war will end. There are other things in between, but I'm trying not to wait which is more possible and more realistic scenario. I'm just trying to apply to both. That is why I created my channel, because the information I collected with years is very valuable for people to know the truth about what is really happening, for preventing people from believing to Russian propaganda. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. And Merry Christmas to you. Even on the Christmas days, I still doing it, because I'm not a troll who is on somebody's payroll and going to work every day and have to make money. I'm doing it because I believe it's necessary. And as Russian Canadian, I believe it's necessary to stand up and defend Ukraine from unprovoked Putin's aggression. And thank you for coming. Please subscribe and like.